So let me tell you about my landlord. When I first moved in here about 5 years ago, the second day that I was living in my apartment, my refrigerator door fell off. It was like this old rusted refrigerator that they gave me, and anyway, I called my landlord and I asked him if he could help me out with it, and he said, "No, we're not responsible for your refrigerator. You're going to have to haul it out to the curb yourself and get a replacement." I didn't picture myself hauling that thing out by myself, so I ended up calling my neighbor, who's a mechanic, and he ended up reattaching the door with a coffee can that he cut up. That was the beginning of my relationship with my landlord. A few months back, I was having a plumbing problem. I first noticed it while I was doing dishes. I heard this torrential downpour going on in the basement. I didn't really make the connection that it had anything to do with the dishes, but it kept happening, so it sunk in. I went downstairs and I tried to duct tape the pipes, but to no avail. There was all this crap from, like, not only the water, but the oil and the food and all that kind of junk. So I called my landlord about my leak. I left a message and I didn't hear back from him. One day I was taking a shower and I heard this rumbling downstairs. It dawned on me that somebody was in my apartment while I was taking a shower. The landlord sent his handyman, so I started going, "Get out! Get out right now!" The place was a mess. I didn't want him to be lurking around. You just don't break into somebody's apartment while they're taking a shower, you know. He got out, and he was waiting outside the apartment for about 15 minutes. I told him to wait while I cleaned up the place. And then the landlord and his henchman came in about 15 minutes later. So the landlord proceeded to tell me what a pigsty this place was. It was like he was telling me, "You're living in filth. There's all this filth all over the place and you're filthy." And, you know, it really hurt my feelings. All three of us went into the basement, which was a disaster, because the basement is just a place for me to throw my stuff, and I don't even attempt to make any order of it. As the landlord was passing through the basement, he was taking snapshots of the piles of junk I had down there with this Instamatic camera. And then, after all this, he told me that we're not responsible for any leaks or clogs in your apartment. You can look it up in the lease. So, it's kind of like, why did you make all this effort in order to tell me that you're not responsible? I was forced to hire a plumber, and he fixed it in about half an hour, and I ended up paying him $85. And after everything was done, I wanted to call my landlord to make peace, to tell him I cleaned up the basement, the plumbing is fixed, why don't you come down for a visit, take a look. So my landlord got all indignant, and he said, "I never gave you permission to hire a plumber." And that's where we left it.